So the Australian government has decided to wreck AH and her lawyer Elaine. How have they done that? Well, they've called them out. They've essentially said that they're liars. Why? Well, they've said that the FBI involvement in an Australian case, that isn't real. Why isn't that real? Well, this Australian case, it never existed. The Australian government is saying, you know what? It does exist. In fact, AH lied to us back in 2015. She gave a declaration or an affidavit that wasn't legit. She also had someone else lie under threat of duress for losing their job. Yeah, they've called them out. They're telling them, the FBI, they've been involved in this investigation. It's legit and it's ongoing. You and I, we're going to talk about all of this today too. Oh man, fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And I love seeing stuff like this. Why? Because the Australians, they are mad at AH, and understandably so. I mean, AH got off with a slap on the wrist back in 2015. All she had to do was tell the truth about what happened. She had to apologize and basically shut up about this. Well, she lied about what happened. She mocked the Australian Authority again and again, thinking they wouldn't do anything about it. Well, recently, they've been very vocal about what they want to do. They want to extradite her. They've asked government agencies in the United States, that would be the FBI, essentially about extradition. I mean, this stuff, it is legit, and they're proving it here. Now, this is a brand new document, too. This is an answer to a Freedom of Information Act request. This was posted on Twitter. Person posting it, this just came up a few days back. Props to them, by the way. They posted it just like it is. They left their name intact. So I'm going to read over this. Now, when you look at the header too, this, like I said, it's legit. It's from the Australian government. And if you notice the department here, anytime that you look up anything about this in the mainstream media, you'll have quotes from the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Forestry. They're the ones over the biosecurity laws and enforcement, and they're working, again, with other enforcement agencies in Australia and overseas, which they make clear here. But they start out, Dear Miss Paris K., thank you for your email to Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Forestry, Senator the Honorable Murray Watt, concerning AH's investigation. Minister Watt has asked me to thank you for your correspondence and to reply on your behalf. Now, this first part here, this actually isn't just background. This is very important. Why? Because it's going to draw a distinction, telling you the first investigation that went on, that involved JD and AH. I mean, that was back in 2015. Well, as a spinoff of that, we've been investigating one person. We're looking into AH alone. Why? Because AH lied and they had other people lie. Listen to this here. The department previously completed an investigation into the 2015 importation of two dogs. Those two dogs' names, of course, were Pistol and Boo, owned by the Hollywood actor JD and his then wife AH. So they're telling you, back when we did that, we put all of that together, and here is why we're continuing forward. During the sentencing proceedings, AH's legal representative, by the way, that would be Marty Singer. I'm going to bring him up in just a minute, but they tendered a range of material, including an affidavit of AH and a statutory declaration of Mr. Kevin Murphy. Now, if you don't know who Kevin Murphy is, by the way, this was the then estate manager working with JD. AH wanted him to put in declarations, basically get herself out of trouble, and it worked back then. She got declarations, that stuff worked on her behalf, but now, well, it's messing up, and here's why. Information has since come to hand via the London libel case, that would be the UK 2020 case from JD and the News Group newspaper, that would be the UK Sun case essentially, that AH may have provided false testimony to the court in relations to her knowledge of Australia's biosecurity laws. That's the first part. She was saying, I didn't know anything about this stuff. No one made me aware. Essentially, she blamed her then person that was working with her, that would be Kate James, her assistant, and also Kevin Murphy, again, the estate manager, for not telling her. Well, they did. You have all kinds of correspondence proving that she did. No. She also, as they continue, that Mr. Murphy, he falsified his statutory declaration under duress of losing his job. Now, what that's talking about is, remember Marty Singer? We were talking about that guy had a correspondence with AH. They were talking about how to make this stuff go away, and the easiest way that they could think of was to get the then person that was working with AH, her assistant Kate James, to make a statement. Why? Because she's an Australian native, first of all. Number two, she had also been fired recently, so they thought that that would go on really well, but they wanted to blame her for everything that transpired. They hit up Kevin Murphy. They said, hey, do you think you could talk her into getting some kind of statement? When they did, they broke attorney-client privilege. You have your privileged communications going from the lawyer to AH. Well, they tagged them in. Kevin Murphy, he didn't feel good about what happened in the aftermath. He did back then give a declaration, basically like he was saying he was threatened, and she did threaten him in those communications. Well, he turned all of that stuff over. He turned it over in the UK trial, and he turned it over to the Australian government. They note this here. The department recently obtained the support of Commonwealth and other overseas law enforcement agents. So they're telling you, very recently, we've gotten the support of the Commonwealth itself. So they've told us that we can have that, and other overseas law enforcement agencies. Now, the agencies that would be involved in that, they put plural, but we know the FBI, they would have to be involved. Why? Because they would put together interviews with witnesses. They would need Kate James. They would need Kevin Murphy. They're telling you that's what happened. And advised that witness statements from the USA had been obtained. Committing perjury in support of a breach of Australia's biosecurity requirements is seen as a serious breach of Australia's judicial system and its process. So they're telling you, we take this seriously. In fact, we take this very seriously. That's why we've investigated it. We've had to investigate it overseas as well. And like I said, they have done interviews recently where you've had people come out and they've basically said, we want to extradite AH. We want to put her on trial because of what she did. Why? Because all of this stuff is really serious. Now, they tell you here, we can't comment further as the matter is an ongoing investigation. So they're telling you, as of now, this is still an ongoing investigation. I've heard, of course, that they've talked to the witnesses. We've seen mainstream media back that up too. But anyway, let me know what you think about this stuff. And as always, I appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. I can't thank you enough for it too. If you want to help out the channel, by the way, there are links in the description. You should definitely check those out. But you being here, that is the biggest help of all. So if you would, share this. Show people it's there. Like, comment. You know that drill. But again, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm going to end here with another thanks and a see you soon.